and welcome to You've Got a Thing, Milwaukee Theater Alliance's weekly television show where we interview people from the Milwaukee community and beyond about the artistic projects that they have going on. My name's Posy Knight. I'm here from 53212 Presents, and I am so excited today to introduce you to Michael Sander from Kids from Wisconsin. Welcome, Michael.
Thanks, Posy. Happy Friday.
It's been awesome getting to know you. Michael has an incredible story, lots of amazing arts activities going on that are going to impact the whole community, the whole state, right, Michael? Do you want to start us off? What's going on with Kids from Wisconsin?
I have to say this announcement is one of my most prized announcements of the year, besides the fact that Kids from Wisconsin are going on tour this summer. So I'm excited about that. We're doing an all-outdoor venue to make sure that it's safe, but we've been planning this since January. And so many things have come out of the pandemic, different opportunities for Kids from Wisconsin to be more in the community. As the new executive director, that's one of my goals, is to make sure that, you know, we're not just known as a performing arts program that shows during the summer, but we're actually giving back to our community, especially here in Milwaukee. So that's what I'm here for, with some great news, and I'm excited to share that with you.
Nice. Well, don't keep us waiting. I mean, what is your exciting announcement?
So Kids from Wisconsin received a few grants for this summer to actually bring live entertainment back to the city. I mean, we're all coming out of a pandemic, especially theater arts groups. And I think we've been the hardest hits, our theater arts groups. You know, no one can come see a show. Everything's virtual. We've all had to adapt. And, you know, since the pandemic is hopefully slowing down, this summer is going to be a little different where we're able to get together. But we were offered a grant to do live performances in Milwaukee. We decided to kind of flip that around, and why not share the wealth with the arts community? Especially since I've started with Imagine MKE and I'm really getting to know so many different arts organizations. It was just a no-brainer to invite everybody to something that we are calling the MKE Arts Spotlight. So it can be a day of fun and performances and just information. People can get out and actually see what's going on in our community, what's coming up in the fall, what live performances are there, see some sneak peeks. It just sounds like a really cool day, and I'm just excited to present this to the community, and hopefully we get some buy-in, and we have a lot of arts organizations who take advantage of this.
How can arts organizations that want to get involved find out more and figure out ways to get involved?
Sure. They can always email me at Kids from Wisconsin. You can go on our website. It's pretty easy. It's kidsfromwisconsin.org. My email's long. I'll say it on here, but if you ever lose that or you don't have a pen, go to our website. You'll find my name. Click on it. My email's michael.sander@kidsfromwisconsin.org. You're welcome to call here. I just want to gather as much information as I can so I can plan the day. Right now, I have a layout of how I'd like the day to go. I'd love to have like 6 different stages going on throughout. So yeah, contact me and let's get this done, because we all need to get out there.
Kidsfromwisconsin.org. You guys don't miss out on this opportunity. I always thought that Kids for Wisconsin was just for kids. Tell me, like, who does your organization serve? Can anyone get involved?
Sure, definitely. You know, that's, I think, the misconception about Kids from Wisconsin. These are definitely not kids. It started in 1969, and we were at war at the time, and Governor Knowles titled this Kids from Wisconsin because he thought it was going to highlight what he thought was Wisconsin's best resource, which is its youth. So every year we go around through the entire state of Wisconsin, and normally about February, to hold auditions. These kids have to be 15 to 20. So again, they're young adults. They have to be a resident of Wisconsin, either born here or go to school here. And we seek out what we think is Wisconsin's best, you know, talent and best resource, which are amazing, talented kids who can give back. We choose 22 singer-dancers. That's 11 boys, 11 girls. And then we have a 14-piece band. And I think people forget that aspect. That's like one of the biggest highlights for me. I was a singer-dancer, so I always thought we were the stars and the band filled in for us. Now that I get older, I realize the band's the star. We're filling in for them.
That's awesome. Well, should we take a look at this year's cast? You guys had auditions in February, and so you're probably training up. Should we roll a little bit of that film and take a look at who's on deck?
Sure, I'm going to give you just a little more information about that. They actually were cast in 2020. That's when the show was canceled, obviously. So we invited the troupe for the first time to come back without auditions because they didn't get the opportunity. Why should we fail them? But they worked. many, many hours on a virtual opener. This is actually our opener for this year's show. This was done last year just to give a sneak peek to everybody. So this is going to be even better now that they've been rehearsing for over a year.
Nice. Thanks, Jamie Lynn.
We like the dramatics.
So sit back and let us be.
Welcome to the Kids from Wisconsin virtual experience. Just because you won't see us traveling around the state doesn't mean we haven't been working hard preparing for the journey ahead. Come along with us for a sneak peek at Live in Living Color.
I got a show that I'd like you to see, but I'm gonna need help cause it's not just me. We got a show that'll make you cheer. It's been going now over 50 years.
We're gonna thrive, not just survive. We're gonna tell our story live in living color.
Something special's up tonight. Yes, we're live and living color. The show's not in black and white.
Here are your 2020 Kids from Wisconsin singer dancers. Maddie, Alexia, Brett, Owen, Tyler, Colton, Maddie, Matthew, McGuire, Sam, Jesse, Kylie, JT, Miranda, Megan, Shannon, Brady, Rachel, Reagan, Michael, Chase, Logan.
We got the horns that'll knock your socks off.
Alex, Gabe, Nathan, Alex, Charlie, Nick, Nate.
The rhythm section that helps us blast off.
Zachariah, Ian, Jane, John, Cody, Cade.
We got a show that's fast and slick.
I hope that you go to YouTube channels, subscribe to Kids from Wisconsin on YouTube, check out all their amazing videos. As Michael Sander, the executive director, told us, you guys have been around since 1969. What do you think has changed for your organization over time?
I have to say a lot has changed, especially coming out of a pandemic, and we were able to refocus. I'm excited about where Kids from Wisconsin is heading. Last year, I called it the year of the alumni. We were just trying to engage all our alumni. We have over 1,000 alumni from all over the state. And it's kind of weird if you're not part of this group, you don't understand, the excitement you get when you see another kid from Wisconsin, whether they were 40 years ago or today. You just have that bond. But we were able to just change focus this year. Now I'm calling it the year of collaboration and community. Every community we go in, we want to collaborate. We want to utilize our platform to focus on the cities that we tour in and what their art scenes are, so people can get introduced to more arts in their local community. That's the focus this year. We also had a great opportunity to bring music back to MPS schools. There are a lot of MPS schools that do not have music, and I did not realize that. I always thought it was just a granted guarantee, and the disparity in who gets music and who doesn't is pretty eye-opening, and it really was bothersome to us. So we received some grants, wrote a program. It's a 12-week residency. We just piloted in fall. We did a virtual course with Craig Montessori School, and it was amazing to see these kids who normally don't have access to music just get engaged. Music is a key And we are expanding that this summer. We're doing 3 summer programs with Lighthouse Youth Center. They have 3 locations all over the city. So we're just moving forward. Next year, we hope to be in more schools and provide more opportunity. We even started a scholarship this year. We realized our diversity was a big thing. Kids from Wisconsin diversity has died out a little bit, and it really was bothersome. And that's because Milwaukee's the most diverse city, and we're not getting many Milwaukee auditioners. So we decided to make sure that we invest in our own city where we are located. And we started a scholarship fund this year that we're going to be able to award one kid from MPS who's going to school for either performing arts or education, music education. So again, there's so many different facets that are moving forward with the kids that I'm just excited to have this opportunity and see this group grow even further than it has in the past. And I think you just change focus because of current times. And, our eyes were open. We're in a turbulent time right now. We have our communities are not pulling together. There's just so much going on where we decided to use our voice in our 53 years of being here and actually think outside of the box and try to grow this organization, not just a summer program, but year round. So it's kind of cool. I'm just ecstatic to be part of this.
We're so excited to have you here. The Theater Alliance is on that same mission, on that same journey together, and we can do it together. So collaboration and community is the key to making those important changes and uplifting all people and connecting everyone to the arts. Accessibility is a huge, huge issue. So I appreciate the work you're doing. Thank you so much, David and Stacy, chiming in. If anyone has questions, throw them in the chat. I know that we're all excited to know more about the Milwaukee Arts Spotlight Community Showcase. Tell me, who are some of the organizations that you follow? What are some of the organizations in Milwaukee that you think everybody should know about that have impacted you?
Real quick, I have to do a shout out when you said David. David was one of my high school directors when I was a senior in high school. His son, what a small world, his son is a kid from Wisconsin. So that's pretty cool. I love to see that connection. But
all the kids need the arts. Absolutely. Everyone.
Organizations that I follow. Me personally, I'm a music theater buff. That's what I went to school for. So, I love following Skylight Music Theater. But, another thing is someone like me who's been in the theater, how come I don't know about all these other theater groups that are out there? And I think Imagine MKE, again, I get tons of shout outs to that organization because they got us together. There's just so many connections to make. I'm learning so many things about so many different organizations that are out there that provide live theater and live access to theater. So that's one of the things I'm excited to learn even more about different organizations if we do this community spotlight. I didn't know we had a drunken Shakespeare group that does Shakespeare. I want to see that.
Not just, it is what Milwaukee specializes in. Am I right?
No, so again, I wish I knew more, and that's the big learning process. And again, I'm excited just to see these connections. I can't wait to get out when we have live theater because I will be attending more theater shows than I ever thought imagined. I think when we sit in our little bubble and we think theater, unfortunately in our city, we think of maybe 3 or 4 different groups, who are bringing in Broadway tours, but we don't concentrate on our local talent. We have so much local theater here. And again, I haven't been able to see much because I'm just learning about this through the pandemic. And me as a theater person, I can't imagine someone from outside of the theater world. They've got to be lost because there's so many different things going on in this city. And that's what this collaboration is all about.
Let's bring attention to all that great work, essential work that's being done by our arts organizations. So, it's obvious to me that you have grown into the executive director of this role, but tell me, what was the path that led you there? How did the arts, when did you first encounter the arts?
High school.
Okay.
I had back surgery, which is pretty weird. I have a metal back, so they had to fuse me. And my parents were like, "No more soccer, basketball. Let's get this kid a voice lesson." And I think my first voice lesson, my parents were like, and my teacher was like, "Whoo, there's some talent there that we can try to develop." So I just, through high school, loved theater, and I have to say my stepping point was Kids from Wisconsin, which is 25 or 30 years later. Here I am. I was 1994, 1995. I was cast as a kid from Wisconsin. It was something I sought to do as a younger kid, seeing these great performers and the high caliber of putting on a show. So I auditioned. At first, I was an alternate. I almost cried. They called me since some kid had to drop out, which was like the best thing for me. I was in Florida, and they called me like, can you get here and get part of this show? So it started there. I went to Eastman School of Music for vocal performance and decided that was not my route, opera, learning all those languages and theory. I'm a performer, not a musician. So I went to American Musical and Dramatic Academy. From there, I met a lot of educators who, obviously going to school in New York, a lot of my teachers were in the business. So I got my first off-Broadway show at 23 years old, starring in this musical called Americana, the Musical Review, and then just performed quite a bit in New York professionally for years, did a few cruise ships, loved that, and then was just sick of living out of a bag and didn't realize, though, coming back and getting into banking. I was in banking for a while. I don't know how I did that transition, but I realized I was missing something, and it was theater. I auditioned for my first show for the first time in 15 years, right before the pandemic, and got cast in Candide at the Skylight. And then that call comes where they're like, oh, this is not happening.
Yeah.
Not
And
you.
you did get the boot.
It sure did. And then this job, I was on the board of directors for kids, starting with their 45th reunion. And I really got to reflect on my time and realize, oh, you know what? When you're in the program, you don't know how much you're gaining from it until you get older and you can reflect on it. And I thought, I got to get back to this organization and be around these kids. It's just exciting to see them grow. So I was on the board of directors for 5 years. We did our 50th anniversary reunion. Kids flew in from all over the country. I ran that. And my goal was to become the executive director. I hope the new managing director is not hearing that. This has been my goal for years, and I just knew the exact time to come in. And the board voted me in and just gave me the opportunity. And from here, it's just never ending. And this is pretty much my dream job, to be around talented kids, help them grow, see them grow, be part of the theater community where I don't always have to be on stage, being in the background and coordinating things and highlighting amazing things in our city and throughout the state. I think I'm realizing this is probably my niche from this point.
Your greatest role. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, as someone who has recently taken that leap to create and run a new nonprofit, I think it's amazing to have access to someone like yourself with so much experience, and kids from Wisconsin being around for 53 years. You all have gone through so many processes of growth. What's some advice that you have for new nonprofits? Where do you think, reflecting on sort of some of the lessons that you guys have learned organizationally, what are some words of advice that you have for people that are just starting that journey to create a nonprofit?
For me, it was think outside of the box. Coming into a program that has been here for so long, it's great to think outside of the box and get buy-in from the board on trying to, change directions a little bit. I understand what the mission of this organization is, but in that mission, there are so many, I think, arms that we can reach out to that we might not have looked at in the past. So thinking outside of the box for me was number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, I have to say, is community relations, building up those community relations. I think a lot of arts organizations silo themselves. It's all about their organization, their performance. We are a community of gypsies. Mm-hmm. And if we all bond together, it's only going to help us grow, because I'm learning so much more about struggles within different organizations that are only helping me, and where we can, have conversations, how to make this better and actually face the realities that we're in today and not do it by yourselves. My biggest goal when I became the executive director was to join Imagine MKE. That was part of my pitch to be getting into this job, is having that community relationship and building community. And the pandemic hit, and that was a slow process. And once that started, it literally, I have to give them a shout out again. It has just opened so many doors and so many connections, where even in my MPS program, I was talking to you yesterday, and I'm looking for teaching artists, and you have connections. So just making those connections as a nonprofit, I think, is number one. It's all about connections.
You're absolutely right. We all share the same artist, we all feed into the same artist pool, and we're all just trying to get, we're trying to build opportunities for young people and for artists, and to really utilize their talents. And I appreciate everything that you're doing. It's awesome to get to know you.
No, this has been fun. Little does everybody know, we were on a phone call yesterday. The people in my office were like, "Woo!"
Yeah.
We're like,
I'm serious. I'm serious. No, I love people. I love people. Actually, I came into community engagement. I was a dancer. I became a designer. It's like my administrative skills, my marketing skills, it all sort of came together as the director of community engagement for DanceWorks for a run. And I realized community engagement is my passion. I just love bringing people together. And I thank Jamie Lynn, our behind the scenes technical expert, for organizing You've Got a Thing. There are so many ways that you guys can support local arts community. Michael, what's the best way that we can get involved, that we can support kids from Wisconsin and the Milwaukee Arts Spotlight Community Showcase?
I think the best thing that people could do is actually participate. You know, communicate that you want to be part of this event. I would love, like I said, I want different stages all over a park. And I would love to have everyone get featured so they can feature their craft, show people what their upcoming shows are when we're out of this pandemic. Again, we're all in the same boat. And I think coming together as a community is only going to make us more whole. It's actually going to have people who are outside of our theater communities understand the struggles that we are facing. You know, I think that we are lost in the hustle of everything going on right now in the pandemic. Our theaters, there are actors who are not working. You know, we need to take care of these people. This is an outlet for all of us. If we didn't have live theater and music, where would we be? I know for me, it's my release. It helps me with my mental health. You know, it's the one time that I feel when I'm seeing something live, whether it's dance troops, singing troops, a band, it's an escape. And I think we've taken it for granted for so long. Step up, support your local artists, support local theater, buy those darn tickets and go see something outside of your box.
Yeah, yeah. Get involved. We are such an open and inclusive community. All are welcome. Michael, thank you so very much for joining us today, taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on You've Got a Thing. I look forward to being a part of your Milwaukee 53212 Presents. We're there, as are all of our friends in the Milwaukee Dance Theater Network and Milwaukee Theater Alliance. Thank you so much.
Save the date. Save the date. It's July 31st.
July 31st. Y'all don't wait. It's going to be upon us before we know it, right? Time
Let's
moves.
get it going.
Time is flying.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to see as many arts organizations as I can. Let's highlight each other.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome guy. Michael Sander. Yeah, making connections. We're doing it, Jamie. We're doing it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, he was talking about Imagine, but that's where, you know, Michael and Jim and myself, Jim Neuner and myself met up. And he was talking about this event, and I think I was actually late or something to that meeting or something. And I just caught like the tail end of it, and I was like, "What? Wait, what is this?" Like, I need to be in on it. And it was really that fast. It was really just okay. Well, then let's do a Zoom and what we can make happen. I am so excited for this event. I cannot tell you.
What's crazy too, I know that we're Milwaukee centric, but Michael Sander actually is so humble. He failed to mention that they are doing this in like 40 cities all across Wisconsin and a little bit in Iowa. Hello, Dubuque. Shout out Dubuque. Hashtag Dubuque Arts is coming for you. Speaking of outside of the box, but again, like, we're so Milwaukee focused, but in fact, we can be also supporting arts all across Wisconsin and connecting to artists all across our beautiful state.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and that's sort of the idea behind the Milwaukee Theater Alliance as well. Like, you know, we're starting it here, but hopefully it's a full Wisconsin movement. I mean,
do we have any updates on the standards? There's another meeting coming up for people to get involved in the theater standards that we're creating for our professionals.
Yes. Well, let's
Thursday.
get into let me share my screen here. First of all,
that's been on our minds. Like, it's good to know that from every organization is thinking about these issues of human rights, and how do we create an environment that's fair and equitable for all of our professionals. So that's been on my mind.
Absolutely. I first have to say here that we need to welcome officially to the Theater Alliance, which is Summit Players Theater. This is a group. If you don't know them, again, the goal of the Theater Alliance. Let's highlight these local groups and local artists and small organizations and small nonprofits to show the world how talented and filled with artists Milwaukee actually is. Summit Players, they are a group of Marquette University students. It was founded in 2014. They travel the parks, like all over the place, similar to the whole Kids from Wisconsin idea. Let's get arts to these small communities, providing that arts access, getting people involved, exposing people to more art. This is sort of born out of the idea that Shakespeare is boring and Shakespeare is lame and all of that. I need to.
I was just gonna say Shakespeare is inaccessible.
Shakespeare's
A little inaccessible.
So they go out to the parks and it's free and they make it fun. And, it's all a bunch of, as far as I know, young-ish people in there. They've got all this energy and AJ Magoon and a whole bunch of, people from Marquette are doing this wonderful, wonderful thing. And so we welcome them to the Theater Alliance officially. We've been, sort of like, trailing after them for a very long time.
We want everyone to be a part of the Theater Alliance because more members makes us stronger together. More voices makes us stronger. So welcome Summit Players Theater. I believe they're doing Winter's Tale this year, right?
They are doing Winter's Tale this year. And, again, it's about showing the whole breadth of what Milwaukee has to offer, all the way from Shakespeare in the parks to 53212 Presents and your, Danceteria and all the stuff you do over there to, the stuff that we do at the Constructivist, which is like dark and watching people die on stage. Well, Shakespeare does that too.
There's room for it all. There's room for it all.
There's room for it all. Yeah. And I thought of, when Michael Sander was talking about opera, then I immediately thought of Milwaukee Opera Theater, and talking about Skylight, who is also a member organization, we're on a roll here, Posy. We're on a roll.
Love it. Love it.
Then next, I just want to mention quickly here that Village Playhouse opened their Evening with Shaw, the series of 3 one-act plays yesterday. So happy opening to them. It's 3 one-act plays that you can go to villageplayhouse.org. Starts out at $15. Just a good night of local group doing some Bernard Shaw.
Well, I was going to ask, theater people obviously know about Shaw, but why would a non-theater person need to know Bernard Shaw? I mean, he's famous to us. Why would non-theater people be interested in the work of Bernard Shaw?
Because it's George Bernard Shaw.
It's high drama, right? High drama.
These are actually comedies as far as I understand. I am not a Shaw expert. I just know that, for us, obviously, for us theater folk, we study. He's like one of the bases of contemporary and modern theater. And so, if you want to see what the in crowd knows,
check it out.
There you are. And then I also have to mention Imagine MKE because we love them so much. And go to imaginemke.org/act, and they can offer you all sorts of utilities to become an arts advocate, which is what, Michael Sanders talking about. It's what we've been talking about. I'm so excited by what's happening right now. There are so many arts advocacy minded people in Milwaukee right now. And there's a lot of us who, are from Wisconsin. We left, we went somewhere else. We came back and we're like, we need what's out there here, because we love Wisconsin and we love Milwaukee, and we want to share, you know, some of these things that you know, New York has, or Chicago has, or all, you know, all these big towns, blah, blah, that we can have all these awesome arts experiences here. Because, you know, as far as arts funding is concerned, and I keep hammering on this, and I'm going to keep hammering on it until we get some change, Wisconsin is 49th in funding, in arts funding in the United States. 49th. And we do this, you've got a thing, week after week after week after week, and we're showing you how many artists are here, and how much there is to offer, and just how much more access we could provide if there was more arts funding. And so part of what Imagine MKE is doing, they've got, you know, a public policy piece and the whole nine for everybody to stand up, say I'm an arts advocate, sign up, send emails to your representatives, and let's get this ball rolling. Let's stop, you know, Wisconsin from being at the bottom of the ladder in arts funding, because we've got some amazing folks here who need to get paid. And also there are a lot of areas in Milwaukee, like what Michael Sander was saying, that need access to art and music and visual art and all of these utilities to improve mental health, to improve people's lives. That's what
they're an essential part of a healthy community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So go to imaginemke.org/act and become an arts advocate. And then just as Posy was talking about, we are in the middle of
another great way to get involved. You guys can't miss this. MTA members, non-MTA members, this is just part of this conversation of how we're taking care of our own communities. And so everyone should be attending these meetings and getting familiar with the theater standards. The more voices, the better. It's so important. It's so important for what's happening now. So it looks like the next meeting is going to be on Monday from 7 to 8:30. You can access the actual living document at MilwaukeeTheaterAlliance.org. And your feedback is so important. It's so welcome and important. It's just what's going on right now. Super important.
For those who don't know, this whole movement was really kicked off in Chicago back in 2017 because of abuse that was happening within the community, in particular with Profiles Theater in Chicago. If you don't know anything about that, Google Profiles Theater. It'll come right up in the Google results. That there was some, and it wasn't just limited to Profiles. It was just really like the straw that broke the camel's back. And so a group of people got together and came up with the Chicago Theater Standards, which was a document to really start the conversation and make significant changes in the community to stop abuse from happening within the community. We've taken that document, we've really expanded on it, especially because of George Floyd's murder last summer and all of these pieces, that it has to be a bigger movement, that there are all kinds of abuse that happens, not just sexual. There's Me Too, there's Black Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate. There's so much going on right now that there are changes that need to be made in the world. This is just our little this is our little corner of the universe of Milwaukee, and we're going to do what we can to make the community better for the performers, the administration, the crew workers. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. This is just a small piece of it. So, but you can go to Milwaukee Theatre Alliance.org/Milwaukee Theater Standards. And like Posy said, get this document. It's currently 48 pages long. Please don't be overwhelmed by that. There's so many pieces in this thing, and it's going to be broken up as soon as we get through this first section to make appendixes and things like that and reference materials. But the kitchen sink is in there right now, and it's going to hopefully make Milwaukee better for artists, but also Milwaukee being better for artists is going to make Milwaukee better for patrons. It's all in our heads here at the Milwaukee Theater Alliance. Like we see the big picture of how we want to change this community, and Imagine MKE sees it as well, that we want to make Milwaukee a world-class arts city. Not only for the big theaters who obviously have wonderful utilities and have made wonderful art over the years, but a lot of us small theaters and storefronts, and what the Theater Alliance was intended is to spotlight the whole piece, that patrons can find out the awesomeness that exists in like the 50-seat theater range. And we're trying to get those people paid too. That's also in the theater standards. There's, but like Posy said, join us in these conversations. We're not trying to make this in the Milwaukee Theater Alliance bubble. We want tons of voices involved.
I think transparency is super important. I love that point you made about patrons. It's when you buy a ticket, you want to know that the way that the people being treated behind the scenes is appropriate and empowering and uplifting everyone. And there's a reason why unions exist, and New York theater scene and Chicago theater scene wouldn't be the same without unions. And unfortunately, Milwaukee is just very vulnerable. We don't have union representation here. And so we need to come together and make sure that everyone is being protected, from the wardrobe mistress to the ushers, absolutely everyone. We do a good job of presenting works that speak to that, but the way that the art is being created, the way that these theater organizations are being run, are they protecting everyone in that work all the time? So yeah, I can't emphasize how important it is for everyone to get involved, and it may be really enlightening for you to see what it takes to actually put these productions on. It's like $15 a ticket, but the life's work, the essential life's work that goes into creating these tickets so that they can be, these shows so that they can be accessible, is just invaluable to our community.
I was just going to say, one of the things that I really believe, truly believe in my soul, is that if patrons and the external lay people really knew the hard work that gets put into, because everybody sees the end product, and it's all like, and we all have smiles on our faces, and we go out and say hello to the patrons after the show, and we're all like, jazzed and adrenalized and whatever. There's a graphic out there that you can Google, and it's an iceberg. And it's like, the tip of the iceberg is the show, and then the rest of it is like the rehearsal that goes behind it. I really feel like if the community on the whole, if we taught our people, if we taught kids from the very, moment of schooling, that how much work artists do, make art happen, that we would if we could put more value on it.
Yeah. It's like no different than any other field, right? It's all the shadow.
We need to,
or like parenting. Like it's that same conversation that the pandemic, the pandemic has brought opportunities for us to reflect on, I loved hearing about the protections for grocery store workers, because what would we have if we couldn't go to the grocery store?
Yeah.
You know, it's like redefining what essential is, really acknowledging all of the shadow work that needs to be valued, because that work matters. I actually love this postmodern artist, Miralee Laderman Ukele's, who created a manifesto for the maintenance artist. You know, I love that idea. It's like maintenance art. It's not just the avant-garde. It's not just what you see. It's all of the labor that goes into maintaining the system and the institution, and making it right for the people that are working in that system. It's not just upholding the stars, but it's all of the people that create the system need to be valued equally.
Yeah. And that's all in the theater standards.
Right. I mean, anyone who works at a school knows your best friend is the engineer.
Yeah.
You can't unlock the storage closet to access that bottle of glue. How are you going to be doing paper mache with your students today?
Yeah.
Well, we all work together. So
Yeah. It's a thing. It's a thing. And it's starting. It's just little kindling right now, but we're okay with that.
oh, it is a raging fire in my heart.
Yeah, well, same here.
Because if you care about people, then this is all part of society. So yeah.
Yeah. So we're excited about that. So join us. We have two more open forums left. Again, Posy said the next one is Monday at 7 p.m. You can go to Milwaukee Theatre Alliance.org to sign up for those forums, read the dang thing, and join us to make artists healthier, get them paid, get the recognition they deserve, they've earned, and we'll keep spotlighting them here on You've Got a Thing.
Absolutely. We'll see you next week.
And we'll see you next week. Hopefully, I'm excited to try and wrangle Michael Sander into hosting next week. So
Hey, of course, yeah, he's down. Well, we know that Fridays is his easy day, so he'll be back.
yeah, he leaked that, so we're gonna be like, you're hosting. But thank you all, for being here out there. Tell your friends. We like we said, we're here live so that you can ask some questions, that you can get in touch with artists and talk one-on-one and all that. So thank you so much. We'll see you next week on You've Got a Thing.